Welcome to another brief video on Alteryx Designer Cloud. Today, we're going to take a look at how one can take advantage of Snowflake dashboards to visualize the data profile and the data quality metrics that comes from an Alteryx Designer workflow. So when you run a job for a workflow in Alteryx Designer Cloud, this is a nice profile that you get as part of your output. You can see that it indicates the overall data quality with a number of rows as well as percentage of valid values with mismatches, missing values. Along with that, you've got each column that has its own kind of data quality with top values. Now, in addition to that, if you do have data quality rules defined, you get an output of a set of rules that you have defined in your workflow. For each rule, you get to see percentage of failing rows, along with those that are passing the rules. And at the same time, you can actually extract the output of this particular report. You can download it as a PDF. You can also download the profile as a JSON. But normally, if you do have the workflow set up to run automatically with emails going out to, say, reviewers or those that are part of the email list, they will get an auto-generated email with this particular PDF here being included as part of the notification. Now, okay, let's talk about how we can take advantage of the data, the actual metadata that surrounds the data quality and data quality rules metrics to visualize that within Snowflake dashboard. So the first thing you want to do is download the profile as your JSON. Just going to quickly download that. We can go back into Designer Cloud, set up just an empty recipe or empty workflow, and let's import in that JSON. We do import, upload, bring that in. Okay, add that to our flow. Now, the idea is that we're going to take this JSON and we're just going to directly publish it to a Snowflake table without making changes to the content. But let's just open up the content for a minute. Let's see what it looks like. You can see it's just a single row that consists of all the metadata about our data profile as well as data quality metrics. From here, we'll just hit run. This will essentially create a brand new table in our Snowflake instance with the contents of the profile in a JSON format in a single column. Now let's take a look at the JSON structure. If I were to use one of these online JSON viewer, you can see that the JSON object itself consists of 4 key attributes. The ones that we're interested in are the profiler type check histograms. Within this attribute here, you can see that it consists of all the columns, and for each column you've got the number of counts for valid, invalid, as well as empty values. Next, we also want to take a look at the profile rules, just because this again itself has all the rules, all the data quality rules that we have defined in our workflow. Along with each rule, you get the pass count, fail count, as well as total count, the type, and the description of the rule. So we want to be able to visualize these 2 particular attributes within Snowflake. All right, let's check back on our job. Now that our job has completed, let's head over to Snowflake to see if we can see our published table. And here we can see the actual job profile table that we created. So it has exactly 1 row. We certainly want to create a dashboard for this. So let's go to dashboard. We'll just click on add new dashboard. Create dashboard. The first tile which we create will display the data quality rules metrics. We create a first tile. With the first tile, we'll make a copy of this query here. And let me explain what this query does. What this is doing is that it's reading the description, the fail count value, pass count value, and total count value from our object, and that object is profiler rules. And since it is in the form of a JSON object, but it was written out as a varchar, we'll need to do a pass on that column. Okay. We also want to make sure that we set this to our correct designated database as well as schema where that published table was written to. So now let's run the test. Oh, you can see that it's saying my table doesn't exist. That's because when I ran the job, I gave it a different name. So I want to make sure that I reflect the correct table name here. Okay, and this is our report here. As you can see, the description for each rule and the rule description, along with the fail count, pass count, and total count. Okay, so let's just create a chart to visualize this result. To create a chart, you simply click on Chart, move over to the right hand side. For this purpose, I think it's better to display it as a bar chart. We want a horizontal one. For the actual y-axis, we want it to display the rule description. For x-axis, we want fail count, pass count, and as well as total count. Right. Scrolling down, you can decide on the order in which to display the rules or these metrics. The series, the order in which a series are displayed. For this purpose, I think you can continue to play around with it, but this is what we have, so let's just keep it this way. You can see that we've got the rules and counts related to each rule. Okay, now let's return to our dashboard and add another tile. This time we're going to look at the data quality metrics for each column. So for each column, we expect to see the number of valid rows, invalid rows, as well as the total number of rows. We'll copy this query here, which I wrote earlier. Again, I want to make sure that we are reading from the correct table. What this query does is that it is pulling data from this particular attribute called profile type check histograms. It's unnesting that sub-attribute or the attribute, and it's returning items such as key and then field names along with the different counts. And then right below, you've got another subquery that basically does a summation on those counts. Okay, let's just run this. We have it set to our correct database and schema. So what I want to do is be able to highlight this whole portion and hit run. Okay, here's our result. We've got column names, and associated with these count on the valid, invalid, and empty values. Now let's create a chart. Do bar chart, horizontal. For y-axis, we want it to be column names or field names. For the x-axis, we want to add valid and as well as empty. Okay, so here we have our chart, and let's just return to our dashboard. We now have two tiles, one that displays the data quality rules and the metrics. You can see for each rule here, you've got the actual total count, pass count, fail count, and right below is a tile that visualizes the data quality for each column with valid, invalid, and empty values. Okay, so now let's rename these tiles appropriately to provide some clarity. Okay, so here we have it. So this is how one can take advantage of a Snowflake dashboard to visualize the data quality rules, metrics, as well as the data quality profiles that come from the result of an Alteryx Designer workflow. Thanks for watching.